Hello everyone. Welcome back to another live stream. My name is Sam. If you have not met me before, hello, welcome. If you have met me before, welcome back. It's been a long time. It's been 2 weeks since we've seen each other, and I'm very happy to say that we're back. I was very excited about today's stream. So yeah, we haven't seen each other for 2 weeks, which kind of feels weird. I'm normally used to seeing everybody and talking to everybody weekly, so kind of weird, kind of strange. But you know what? At the end of the day, here we are, and we get to reconnect again. So this is very cool. I hope everything's been going well in your neck of the woods. I hope everything's just running swimmingly. That's weird. 2 verbs, running swimmingly. Who knows? Anyway, hope things are going well. Here has been extremely cold. Last week, where I live, it was minus like 47, 48 with the wind chill. I know most of us have probably heard about these wicked weather reports. But yeah, it was nuts. It was very cold. I've never ever been that cold. And it was odd to me that we all just kind of kept doing our thing here. Canadians are built different, I've decided. We just kind of go along with whatever happens, and nothing's wrong. Let's just keep going. So that was kind of the highlight of last week. And then also looking at updating my software for the streams. So I've taken some steps in that right direction, which is really exciting, which means I'll be able to broadcast to multiple channels at the same time, which I've never really considered, but it might be a cool way to bring in some more Samily members, which would be kind of fun. So looking at stuff like that all as well, and also working on some musical projects, which I'll talk about probably closer towards the end of the stream. And we'll hopefully be launching by mid-February, something like that. So that'll be really exciting. However, if you are just joining us, welcome. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, keep up to date with all the live streams, and there'll be some more kind of pre-recorded videos coming down the pipe this year. So be sure to stick around for those so you can learn everything you can about music and hopefully spark some musical passion. How are you coping with the snow? The snow is not too bad. It's actually really just the cold, which is it threw me for a loop. I've never been cold driving as much as I have. So normally, if it's cold outside, you start your car, you let it warm up a little bit. I try not to do it too much because I don't want to pollute the planet that much. But normally you just let it run for a little and then you're good to go, right? You're warm, you got some warm air coming in, it's all good. This time around, it was so cold that I actually felt like I was like standing outside when I was in my car. So I can't imagine how cold it was outside. With the wind and all that out in the middle of nowhere. So it was very cold. It's warming up now though. So I'm feeling quite happy about that. So hello everybody. Franzi, welcome. Thanks for being here. Carol as well. Tony, welcome back as well. Thanks for being here. And thank you so much for posting on that Musical Fitness Club. I was just about to do that and I saw that you had posted there. So thank you for that. Appreciate that a lot. And for those of you who aren't aware, that's just a kind of a side group that has also had a very positive impact on my streaming career, and I owe a lot to. So very cool. Music Man Video Piano says, Sam, are you going to be streaming once a fortnight? So I am going to assume fortnight means every 2 weeks. The answer to that would be yes. Just for kind of having some more time to focus in on some of the other projects. I was going to wait till the end of the stream, but I might just say it now. What I'm doing right now, basically is creating channels for people to study to. I'm writing music as much as I can for specific genres. So you've got some like lo-fi stuff, you've got some classical stuff, you've got some jazz stuff, and I'm going to put it all on one YouTube channel and just let it sit. And if you want to listen to it while you're working on stuff, or if you want to just listen to it in like the pastime, you're more than welcome to do so. I'll let you guys know when that's going to be launching, probably mid-February, but that's what I'm working on right now, to just kind of share some music with people, and hopefully we can get that channel up and running, as well as filming some more stuff as well for this channel, Tonicized Music Academy. So that's going to be really fun. I'm really excited about that. Okay, so today, if you guys remember last stream did not go very well. We had some technical glitches. We had some interesting things. Today, however, we do not have those, it seems. Knock on wood. So we're going to dive into basically writing some SATB and some string quartet stuff, basically some choir and some strings, and how we can kind of spread out our melodies across the board when it comes to supporting melodies versus kind of writing our own melodies. And where do we start to draw the line? Is it too much if I add all of these strings, or is it you know, kind of less. So yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit today, and then yeah, we'll see where it takes us. Also, I've updated the studio a little bit, so now we can have some conversations like this. It's going to be a little different. I moved the piano out of the way, mostly because this guy is now my main piano, and I've got my MIDI and all that stuff kind of wired into my computer, so I don't really need this big giant piano sitting here anymore for the time being. So I took it out. So that's why we've got this nice big open space, and I'm honestly not mad about it. It's kind of nice to have this kind of open area, and you guys could see a little bit of what my setup looks like and kind of what I'm using. And it's a lot of buttons. I realize it's a lot of screens, but if you have not seen it before, this is yeah, this is the space. So this will be a kind of fun thing, and you can use that guy to write and that guy to stream. It's quite an elaborate process. So all right, well, in the meantime, let's dive in to our score, shall we? Okay, so this is what we tried to do last time, and I'm very excited about it because now we can actually do it. So let's do that. All right, so SATB plus string quartet. Now, if you are a beginner composer, you're just starting to write, this might feel really overwhelming. But don't worry, if this is your first time watching the stream, or if this is the first time you've ever watched this content, there's tons of other stuff you can check out. Go check out those videos, learn as much as you can about the music theory stuff, and then just kind of come back and watch these live streams at your own leisure. That's kind of the idea for now, as I film more content and get that up and running. So yeah, that's the idea. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, don't stress. It's all good. We all start somewhere. Let's start here today, and we'll see how it goes. Follow along as much as you can and ask questions in the chat. Okay, so Sam, I visited your other site a couple days ago. Have you removed your music altogether? Which site was it? Oh boy, hold on. Is there because there is a samvesley.ca right now, and I had that website like made kind of on a whim, and not the best, and I haven't really looked at changing anything. So if you Google or look up samvesley.ca, you're not going to find anything great there, so don't even bother yet. I'll let you know when there's a website that comes up. However, yes, the YouTube videos that were up, like my grad recital, I took those off for the time being because I have some new, more updated stuff that I want to share with the world. I might put the jazz one back up. I haven't decided yet, but I just decided, you know, clean slate, take it off. So yeah, kind of fun. YouTube channel. No, the YouTube channel's still there. Sam Vesley Official. It's still rocking, still there. There's nothing there though on like the video side of things, but soon to be. So, okay. So let's talk about this score today. Let's focus in on that now. I keep teasing stuff. Let's let's just focus in on this for the time being. If you have any questions about that at the end, we can definitely chat about it for sure. Okay. Cool. Let's do it. So let's start with a melody. Okay, we're going to start with just a very simple melody, and then we're going to add some more stuff to it to make it a little bit more exciting in the choir part specifically. And then we're going to talk about how we can add strings underneath it. That's going to be our process here. So the first step, of course, is our choir part. So let's start with soprano. I always like starting with soprano voices. Just kind of gets you the idea. You can always flip things around after, but this is kind of the main idea. So we're going to go... what key are we in here? And you guys can hear that okay, I think. It's a little bit meh. I don't like the sound still. I still haven't figured out how to flip those around, but all in due time, of course. I'm just going to make sure that the sounds aren't too loud for you guys, which is good. Yeah, it should be okay. Cool. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to delete these. Let's say we're going to go into a flat key. I want to write with like a really warm kind of tone, and flat keys usually do that for me, this kind of warm sound. I love E flat major. Let's stick with that. I really like that chord kind of progression that comes out of E flat major. So, da, da. Awesome. Thank you guys for confirming the audio. Appreciate that. Oh, you know what? We need a pickup. We need a pickup measure. That's what we need. So we're going to add a pickup measure just for the sake of the melody here that I have in my head. It's going to be like da da da, and that first downbeat is going to be where we where is the pickup measure? Really? Is it over here? Document. There it is. No, no, no. Yeah. Cool. The downbeat is going to be on beat 1 of the first measure. So, no, da. Actually, I'm in a different key in my head here. We're going to do that. That's the main melody, okay? So we've got this really nice kind of clean melody line in the key of E flat major. We've got A flat, B flat, C, C, B flat, A, and then some G's and some F's. That's pretty much it. So what we can do now, if you're writing a choir part, or if you're trying to find a way to write choir, there's two ways you can go about it. You can either harmonize everything, so line all the notes up and basically copy paste this structure, and then find the chord notes associated with each individual note. So let's say, for example, in the key of E flat major, we have lots of different chords, right? And these chords can be expressed in a specific way because of the key signature. There's going to be a specific pattern that goes with E flat major. This means that when we play E flat major, and I'm going to try and just play the notes, not the sounds, but just the notes, so we can understand the theory as opposed to relying on our ears a little bit. Just give me a second here. I'm going to pull up my MIDI keyboard so you can see what's going on with that. But yeah, it's basically understanding that we have a set amount of notes. We can create chords out of those notes. These chords are called diatonic chords. These are chords that are inside the key. That's what diatonic means. And so when you have chords that are in the key, well, that allows you to make harmonies. And that's what we're looking for. When we write melodies, we're looking for those harmony notes that can fit within the specific notes that we have in our melody. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to duplicate this, and then I'm going to put this over here. And I'm going to create a screen share. Cool. So basically what we're doing is trying to think about where the notes are going to be in relation to the chords while we write. And it's a very hard thing to do on the fly. It takes a long time to kind of get really used to this. And I'm just going to see. Oh no, where'd it go? Where'd it go? This is hard to set up. I should have set this up earlier. Sorry about this, guys. Where do we go? There we go. That should be good. Okay, we're going to just do that for now. And then we're going to move this like that. Make it a little bigger. There we go. Okay. So here we go. Here's our piano. Kind of a janky way to do it, but that's okay. So we've got E flat, G, and B flat, which is kind of our main starting point here, okay? And as we go up with our scale, which is all of these notes here, okay? These notes are going to create the harmonies that we need, okay? That's it, easy peasy. Now you can't hear sound, you're not supposed to, that's okay. What we're gonna do is if we find a note, let's say this is our melody, da, 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 that's what's written, the first three notes. What we can do is look at where those notes fit into our diatonic chord progressions. Now, the reason I stopped on F minor here, here's why, okay? If I stop on F minor, what happens is I have a C and an A flat. And if you look at the melody, what's in the melody? Well, we have A flat, B flat, and C. This is a good chord to pick for our harmony if we want to build our harmonies out. So A flat, B flat, and C, this is going to fit quite nicely. But are there other chords? Well, let's take a look. Well, if we go up again, there's G minor. Again, we're just using these notes in this beautiful triad shape. And then we go up here to A flat. Well, look at this. We have A flat, C, and E flat. Now, E flat isn't a part of our melody anywhere. That's okay, though, because we still got the A flat and the C. Just like we had an F down later, but not really prominent, right? Not really consistently F notes in the melody. So A flat's a good choice. C minor would always be a good choice. And F minor. These are the three chords that we can play because of the A flats and the C's in there, okay? Now, this one's not the best, but it has the C, so it works, right? So we can maybe use that. Let's take a look and see what we can do. Well, here, our melody is C. So I'm going to stick with C minor just because that's the root and it's at the top. So I'm going to build a C minor chord in the triad kind of shape underneath. So this is an octave lower. So we're going to maybe go here, E flat, and then we're going to put C on the bottom. Okay. So now what I've done is I've spread out my C minor chord. So C, E flat, and G. I've got C, I've got E flat, and I've got G. Those are my three. Awesome. And then I've doubled up the root on the bottom, which is kind of cool. So now we can take a look and see if that sounds good. Okay, so that sounds really minor. It's kind of cool, kind of sad, but it works, right? It's pretty cool. Is there a different option? Of course, we could do F minor just by simply doing this. We're going to put this to A flat. And then we're going to put this to F. So we have C's. Yeah. Now we could keep the C, but this turns the chord into something different. This kind of like mixes things around a little bit. So you've got this like F minor over C because C is on the bottom. But if I turn this into an F on the top, it's going to sound a lot more solid and consistent with the chord shape. So I like that. I like that a lot. We're going to keep that. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. So that's good stuff. All right, now we're gonna go da 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 da. It's a little faster than I was hoping, but that's okay. We can slow it down later. Just for now, we'll keep it at the speed. Okay. Theory Mary, welcome back. Yes, thank you for being here. I know it's been quite a while since we've seen each other, but you know what? We're back and we're rocking and we're rolling and things are good. I'm very happy to be back. So F minor, da da da. Yeah. I think this might be a good opportunity to just leave some space. So da da ho, ba da bop, ba da bop, something like that. Okay. So we're gonna try that out. Now again, there's two ways to do this. We could just line everything up and make harmonies off of every single melody note. Sorry. But then you get a very dense sound. And if that's what you want, absolutely, you can make this really dense kind of choir harmony, which would be really cool. I would honestly maybe look at doing something like this and having the whole notes go throughout if you wanted that really cool, dense sound, just to give it that extra kick. So let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, I like that. And I would actually tie that. So it's da 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 da. Right? Very beautiful little melody there to introduce our main idea. And I think that's what we'll stick with. So let's just stick with the whole notes for now, and then we can maybe go a little bit crazy. So I've copied and pasted this F minor here. Let's experiment. Let's see. Well, hold on. We've got an A flat. We've got an F. We've got an A flat and an F. Now, there's not a lot of diversity here. And we can't change our melody note because we like the melody. That's important. We need to keep that. So we need to change this guy. A flat. Now, again, we're using our chords here, right? We're going to use the diatonic chords of E flat major, which means that we have to make sure that we're keeping that consistent. So if we go back to our piano, those are the notes we need. So what's the one we're missing? Well, we've got F and A flat. We're missing a C. You see how this works? Get it? See how this works? Zing. That's a music joke. If you didn't get it, that's okay. You can go back and watch it and laugh after it. Okay. So we need A flat. No, we need C. I lied. We need C. So we're going to turn this to C. Easy. That's it. Done. And this is going to change things drastically. Check this out. One simple note, and we've changed it. We've elevated it just a little bit. Music is all about motion. If you can create motion or stop motion, not like, see, we're gonna make a stop motion film. No, not like that. We're basically moving the energy back and forth, starting and stopping, tension, release, all that stuff. So we don't really have to change much here, which is really cool. I'm really happy about that, which is awesome. There are 11 of us here right now, and I'm so stoked that there are 11 of us here. So if you're here and this is your first time, thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and say hello in the chat. I would love to see you. I'd love to meet you, get to know you on a first name basis, or at least your username basis. It'd be really cool. So say hello, please. I want to say hi. I want to meet you. Okay. Going back to this, I feel like this needs to keep moving forward, right? We need to keep pushing this and pushing this up and up. So da 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 da. I feel like it's gonna move up and then have a really nice kind of resolution on the end. So let's see what we can do. Our change. Okay, right there, I could just call it. That's it. That's the end of the intro. Done. Right? Super cool. However, I don't think we're there yet. I think we need to go somewhere different. I think we need to use a B flat. Da 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 da. B flat major. So B flat major is going to look like boop, boop, boop. That thing. B flat, D, and F. And look at that. We've got an F in our melody, which is kind of cool. So this guy right there is going to be our main melody. So that means we need a D flat and a B flat and a D note in our chord. So I'm going to go like, I'm going to put this up to B flat just for fun. Okay. And then I'm going to put this to our D note, which is cool. Hey, Scott A, welcome, welcome. Thanks for being here. Yes, it's been a while. I've taken kind of a 2-week approach to these streams. I felt like I was really kind of draining myself when it came to just constantly streaming weekly, and that's why I switched to 2 weeks. So I'm sorry if you're feeling like, where the heck did he go? But yeah, that's kind of where my approach has landed me here. So apologies if you were kind of waiting. So. Welcome back though. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're hanging out. This is a good time. Okay, so we've got F, we've got D, we need a B flat here. Or no, we need D, sorry. There, D there, B flat on the bottom. I'm actually gonna keep the F on the bottom note here on the bass. I wanna see what that's gonna sound like. Now, if I had my piano up, rocking, I would be playing this to make sure that I'm feeling good about the decisions I made. All is well. Scott, LOL, I thought it was me. No, it's not you. Not you. It's just me. Just me. Cool. Let's see what this sounds like. Very good observation, Franzi. Very good observation. Very good observation. So, Franzi has just pointed out something that usually is a big no-no. Take a look at where this note is. This is a soprano part. This is the highest singer, the ones that usually go and go really crazy. I'm not a soprano, but I can fake it. And this note here in the altos is now higher than the note in the soprano part, which usually is a big no-no. So what we can do instead, boom. Now, this is also very low for an alto, so we might have a problem here, folks, because we now have to make a decision. Do we keep this B flat or do we slip this to the D note and then we turn this into the B flat? This is the game. This is the composing game. We are still using those notes in B flat major, B flat, D, and F. However, we have to keep in mind of the simplicity of the lines horizontally, not just vertically, horizontally. Because if I went and just moved all my notes at random places, this is where it gets confusing. So I like this better. It looks seamless across the board. It's not hard to read. It's a very easy progression. The bass, I mean, come on, it's 3 of the same note. This guy's gonna have an easy time. I say guy because it's a very low part. I'm sure there is some female basses out there with choirs that do not have male parts there. So let's try. So right away, it sounds way more blended. It sounds way more put together, which is really, really clean. I really like it. We're now going to switch the bass note. Why am I going to switch the bass note? Well, because that's going to give the most change to our ears. Our ears are going to pick that up and go, whoa, what is this? That's what we want. As composers, as musicians, we want to make sure that we're keeping our music engaging, especially for those who are listening, right? But it's not always about the listener. It's important to consider them, but you want to write music that makes you happy as the composer. It depends on what happens, right? So chord is B flat. Yes, you've got it. So, oh wait, hold on. Right. So we've switched to B flat. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second. Our chord right here is B flat major. However, this isn't all we need, right? B flat is kind of an important note in this key we're in, the key of E flat major, because check it out. We are using E flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth note of E flat is B flat. This means that this is the dominant position. And if I build a chord using all of my notes in the key of E flat major, we're going to get this flat 7, this A flat. And that sound is going to make our change a lot easier to make. However, I'm curious to see if it's going to be too aggressive. But take a look at that melody. That's right. We've got an A flat in there already. So I think it's already kind of cooked in. So we probably don't have to work too hard here. We're going to change this bass note to B flat. We're going to change this. Oh, are we going to keep that? I think we are for, oh, no, that's B flat. So we probably should change this to F. Because this has kind of switched, but I don't want to go that high. So maybe we stick to making this the D. This is the puzzle, right? Keeping all those notes in order, but not jumping too high for all the parts horizontally. This is the trick. Yes, it's a 5/7. This is exactly right, Francie. Good job. This is a dominant 7 chord, meaning that we have that flat 7 out of all of the notes. So usually it's 1, 3, 5, 7, but we've altered it slightly because of the key signature. And now we're in a flat 7 world. So this is where things are going to get interesting. I've got B flat, I've got D, I need an F, and then this is A flat and G. Now we've got some movement here. Now in my head, I heard like a suspended chord. So this is where instead of playing the 1, 3, 5 of your triad, you're playing 1, 4, 5, and then resolving to the 3 later from 4 to 3. This is kind of what I had in my head. However, I don't know if that's going to work anymore, and that's okay, but we can try it out with context. Okay, what is that doing there? I don't like that thing. Okay, I kind of liked it. I want a little bit more spice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a fermata on this to really emphasize kind of the slowdown, if you will, just for now. It usually would probably be like a ritardando or something in like that kind of tempo alteration world. But I like the fermatas. It's easy. And especially with the playback, it's like really, really clean. It sounds a lot better. It gives you that time to process. So now we've got whole notes here. I'm going to change these and I'm going to move everything to a new chord. Remember when we talked about starting writing with kind of all these different melody notes and you can basically create harmonies for each one? Well, now we're going to tap into that strategy because now we can have the ability to say, okay, there's 2 melody notes. We can move everybody with those melody notes. Ba, ba, right? Those are the notes. We can move everybody. Instead of just having bo, right? Having one note hold all the way through like we've done over here with these parts. It's a different technique. So this is what I wanted to talk about with SATB. Now, when you are writing like this, excuse me, where do the strings go? Well, That's what we're going to find out next. But let's finish this first. Hold on. I'm going to explain why I did that. Give me a second. Yes. Okay. Oh, this will be fun. Okay, so I've changed some things here. What did I do? I followed my brain, and now I have to explain why I did those things. Okay, here's what I did. Okay, I heard this harmony in my head, and we're gonna listen to it to make sure it sounds right. Well, that didn't slow down at all, did it? What the hecky here? Okay, I'm gonna do this instead here. Tempo alterations. Nice. Okay, we'll slow it down. Okay, let's go from 5 and see what. Close. I want ba. So I want. There it is. Cool. Let's stick with that. Okay. Yeah, because we've got G's. Oh, that makes so much sense. That makes sense. Okay. I don't know what chord this is yet. I have to figure it out. Give me a second here. It's just C major. It's just C major. Yay, it's C major. So what happened? What? Why? How? Who? When? What? Right? C major does not belong in the key of E flat major. What's going on? Because we have this. E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat. Why? How can I do this? This shouldn't be here. What I've done, ladies and gentlemen, okay, is I've borrowed from a different scale, okay? Unintentionally, this is not something I planned on teaching today, but here we are. Essentially what I've done, okay, is I've borrowed a chord from a different scale. Now, you can borrow chords from a lot of different places. For now, we're going to talk about something really weird, okay? So stick with me here. Ask questions in the chat if you're like, dude, what are you talking about, okay? Please. So E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat. That is our major scale. Yes, we understand that this is the key we're in, all of those notes plus that extra little E flat. Fantastic. Now, if I have this sound, right, this also has what's called a relative minor scale associated with this group of notes, okay? So this is going to sound major, da, 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 right? If I go down 3 half steps, I get C. And this is where we get our relative minor, okay? Na, 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 what's C? La da ya da 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 da. Okay, that's our C minor. Sounds very similar to E flat major, but it's just starting on a different spot. Okay, now this is the relative minor. This is a very important. My eyes have turned into piano. Just kidding. This is a very important concept. Okay, minor scales are very versatile. And you can build chords with your minor scale, just like you did with your major scale, the diatonic chords. They're slightly different, but at the end of the day, it's relatively the same stuff. It's just in a different pattern, okay? What we can do with this is use something called a parallel minor. Now, before you jump ahead of me here, parallel minor is different than natural minor, okay? It's not the relative minor, it's a parallel minor. And the difference between the two scales, okay, is essentially the key signature, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go back to my piano here and we're gonna talk, oh, not that button, that button. Let's play C minor. Oh, why are my notes on? Oh, that's why, because my switcher's on. Lol. Okay, so here we go. There's C minor, right? This is the natural relative minor. So this is the one that we went 3 semitones down. Okay, great. Hello, Mally. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for being here. So happy to see you. This is the relative minor. C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C. Great. The parallel minor is this. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. This is C major. That's it. This is the parallel minor. Now, where did I get C major from? Why can I just throw C major in here willy-nilly? No problems. Well, here's why. I'm starting on the same note. This is all it is. So a parallel minor starts, or a parallel scale technically, starts on the same note, okay? And what I can do is borrow different scales that start on that note and build chords off of it. So instead of E flat, D diminished, C minor, this would be in the key of E flat major. I'm now borrowing from a different key, borrowing from a different scale. That's it. And I make C major triad. This is why this works. Now, does this work for any scale? Yeah, technically, theoretically. Should you do it all the time? Probably not. There are some that work, and there are some that work less. That's the key. Sometimes it's just a matter of understanding which ones sound good and which ones don't sound good. Theoretically, though, anything can be anything, which kind of really hard to wrap your head around that. It took me a while, and I felt kind of silly after. I was like, I've learned all of this for nothing. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change the key signature. Okay, Mario Music, welcome to the chat. Thank you for being here, my friend. Yes, borrowing from a different scale does not change the key. It does allow for some accidentals to happen. So going back to this one here, right? All I've done is throw an E natural instead of E flat, and bada boom, bada bing. Mario Music, you influenced that Italian little saying there, but it changes the chord. Now, a great question from Scott A here. It says, how long does it work? I mean, one bar, one phrase? This is a great question. I usually only let it happen for a chord, and then I'm back into the next one. So what I'll show you is how you can get back into the next key. It is quite cool because you can just go boop, C minor, and then whoopah, C major, and then whoopah, back into C minor. It does not really matter how long it is. You can keep it as long as you'd like. That might change it to what's called a modulation, where you modulate a chunk into a different key signature, so C major, and then back in. But just for single chords, what we do is we just borrow. That's what it's called. Just borrow for a second, and then pop back into the original key that you were in. You can play around with this, right? You can switch things and then come back into it. What I find, though, is that if I'm switching, it's very hard to maintain that original key signature if you go too long, right? If you keep, if you change out of your key signature and all of a sudden you get lost in your new key signature that you've chosen, it's very hard to bring it back. And that's something that I found really challenging. So I always just kind of keep it nice and clean, one and done. And then it's really easy to come back into the original key. And you don't stress out, yourself or anyone listening, that kind of thing. Titouan, welcome. Yo, thanks for being here. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so if you borrow from C major, this is a question from Frenzy, does that mean your piece is in C minor or E flat major? Well, a great question. This, I don't think, changes the key signature, right? You're borrowing from C minor, you're using the parallel stuff. I would say it's still an E flat major, right? We're still using that E flat structure that we started with, right? We're sticking with E flat, we're working in that way. I don't think thinking about the how pliable a key signature is helps, because it throws you off, right? You're like, okay, crap, am I in C minor? Am I in E flat major? What key am I in, right? It gets really challenging to follow where you are. So I would recommend just picking one, sticking to it, and don't really try to get overwhelmed by, oh no, I switched, now what key it's in, right? And that can get really overwhelming quick. So let's take a listen again to what this is gonna sound like. And then we'll write a little bit more with choir, and then I wanna get into the strings, because what do you do with strings, right? That's the question. here. We're in C, right? Now, this is going to be cool because what I'm going to do in my next part is write F minor. And that's going to resolve it. Now, watch this. And then A. I think this. Hold on. I'm experimenting here. Give me a second. Nope. There we go. So F needs to be on the bottom. It needs to kind of have that grounding sense, that resolve. F minor, and then. Yeah, that'll work. Perfect. My voice is quiet and the program is loud, is what I'm hearing. Okay, so I will. Tenor is too low. I agree. Okay, hold on a sec. Let me adjust my volumes here a little bit. So I'm gonna toss my voice up a little bit there. And then I'm gonna toss this guy down a little bit. That should help. I feel like I'm a little bit louder. If I'm too loud, do let me know. Yes, precision is always good. It's always good to play around with these kinds of things. So, okay, so we've got this nice F minor chord here, which is cool. Now, the tenor here, oh, I'm a tenor. That seems pretty good for me. I kind of like that range. So I could go pretty cool, which is really, really, really nice. Mario music, I saw your email right before starting the stream. I will respond after. I saw it. Thank you for sending it to me. I will respond accordingly. Yes, so with the range, right? Sometimes music softwares give you these ranges, right? And it's like, oh, you shouldn't go that low because they can't hit it. But the ranges you're able to change the range on the program. You're able to change what it says is kind of the guideline. So don't trust the program. Do the research. Look and see what is the range. Now, Franzi, you had mentioned that that's too low. It's close. This, I think, would be okay. I think it's a good little range for this. The alto, though, nah, that's not bad. Too high, right? We don't want to be over the soprano. That's way too high. What I just said. Yeah, back down. So this chord is gonna be really cool because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna do this for 8 beats. And then I'm gonna do a slight change. I'm gonna keep the F and I'm gonna keep the C. Oh, your first chord tone was too low. Ah, I see. This one here. Da. I think for now, for the example, I'm gonna keep it, but I think we'd have to look into that a little bit. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Where was I? So da. There we go. Okay. So check this out. Now we're gonna just move 2 of the notes. The chord now has become B flat major. So we're going from F minor to B flat major and then back to F minor. Kind of cool, kind of fun. We're going to take a listen. I'm going to loop this twice over once we... Yeah. If you've ever watched Night of the Museum, the one with Ben Stiller, it's an older movie, I guess I should say. Not too old, but... This is the chord progression they use, which is really pretty. I really like it. Okay, and that's where we're going to finish today. So we're not going too far. This is just more of an example situation here because we want to maybe look at what the strings are going to do. So I'm going to delete all this extra fluff here. Again, if you just joined us, we're talking about string parts with a choir on top. So we've already written our choir part. We're going to take a listen all the way through. We've talked about diatonic chords. We've talked about, fitting our harmonies with the melody exactly, or maybe looking at extending our harmonies underneath our main melody line instead. These are different strategies that you can use for your choir writing, or any type of writing really when it comes to 4-part. But choir specifically, you can really get a sense of the energy that's flowing between each part, which is really cool. So let's take a listen. Very cool. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got this really nice choir part, and it speaks to the soul. Just kidding. Cool. So that's kind of neat. That would be really fun to put into like an actual choir setting to see how it sounds. That's where you can really hear the connection between 1, 3, 5 in your triad, and how it works together, if it's in tune, to create this really nice resonance in a nice acoustic hall, or like a choir hall, or anything like that. There's a lot to choir writing when it comes to understanding where the noise is going, how it's resonating in the building, all of these different factors that come into your piece. So if you have a chance, and if you get a chance, I would recommend looking up a guy by the name of Eric Whitaker, an incredible composer, very artistic, very creative, and very unique in his style. Some people love him, some people not so much in terms of how he writes. He's a great guy all around, so that's a huge win. But he uses clusters, and he uses these really intricate harmonies that kind of make you go, whoa, I never thought that would work. And if you look at his scores, they just look like little balls of notes. They just... But it's because he's so particular when he plays the piano and figures out these harmonies as to how it's going to sound in specific contexts. So definitely check it out. Do you have a book recommendation about choir writing? I don't, actually. I've never found a book like that, actually. I've never looked for one. It's a good question. I'll have to take a look here. Let's see here. See if this book has anything on it. I picked up this book. It's called The Principles of Orchestration. There it is. Beautiful. The Principles of Orchestration. I picked it up in Portland, I believe. For those of you who have went to Portland or live kind of close to Portland, or maybe know a little bit about Portland, there is a bookstore, or multiple bookstores there, called Powell's. I spent all day at Powell's and dropped an absurd amount of money on the amount of books. I think I bought like 25 books when I went last time. Yeah, it was very fun trying to explain that to the border guy. But what'd you guys do here? Bought books. I went with my friend for context. Okay, so there isn't too much in terms of like... Okay, here we go. So voices. There's got a chapter on voices. That's pretty much it. Yeah, nothing too dense in this book. I guess there's a little bit here. Nothing too crazy, though. Stuff that we've talked about here. Just ranges and all that. So I would say Principles of Orchestration by Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov. This might sound familiar to some of you. Yeah. Pretty cool. That would be the book I would recommend. I got an army of books down here, so. Okay. So, choir time is done. Let's move on to string time. The city of books. Yes, it is the city of books. It's absurd. If you ever get a chance, Powell's, my friends. Powell's. I'm not a sponsor. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I didn't have to worry about weight limit. I drove, so I had to just pile it all in my car. But I went to a grocery store and got a grocery bag. I put all my clothes in the grocery bag, and then I put my books in my suitcase because that was the only way that safely move them around without them sliding around all over the place. Very fun, but my goodness, it was a crazy time. I literally spent the entire day in the one Powell's, and I was like, I want to go to all of them, but it was hard to say bye-bye. I'm going back soon though at some point. Okay, so let's go back to our score here. We've got lots to do with the strings. Now, the strings are kind of a really unique beastie when it comes to orchestral writing because you can do so much with a string section. And there's so much diversity you can do with a string section. You have different techniques. You have different kind of bow strokes. You have different kinds of harmonies you can create to extend the voices really, really wide or keep them really dense and close, like the triads on a piano. There's tons of opportunity here. And so when writing strings for the first time, it can feel really overwhelming. It's like, what do I do? There are two things or three things that I always think about with strings. One, do the strings need to take over for someone else, right? Strings are so good at standing out and being like the center of attention, especially with big orchestral pieces. But they're also very good at being the background. They're also very good at being the support. And it's so easy to switch between the two with strings. It's very cool. A trumpet, for example, hard to do that, right? Trumpets come in, they just come in screaming. They're like, right? And it's like, oh, there's the trumpet. Okay. Right. Instead of, that's kind of the harmony support. It doesn't sound as great. I was a trumpet player in band. We got all the good parts. It's just the truth. So there's a joke. How many trumpet players does it take to screw in a light bulb? Well, one, but then 5 more to tell them how much better they can do it. It's a trumpet joke. I apologize to any trumpet players out there. There is a slight ego that goes with that instrument for sure. I'm just kidding, but it is funny. Okay. So let's talk about violin, viola, cello, and double bass. Okay. What are the key roles here? Well, double bass is probably going to be playing mostly roots. Okay. Mostly the roots of the chords. These are the names of the chords. This is what gives the chord the kind of its essence. So I would probably be safe to copy and paste this if I wanted to do straight harmony, right? And this part, I think we should. Just big, strong harmony. This is the context of the piece, right? We're starting strong. We're introducing the idea. There doesn't have to be a lot of busy stuff happening here, right? It's just, this is the idea. And then we move on to something new. So I would say that if you wanted to just cop out and not do any of the work, you could just do this. Just literally take it and then just change it so it's just big whole notes. That's what you could do. Now, I'm not going to keep it this way, but I want to hear what it sounds like just so we get kind of an idea of what we could do with a string section. That sounds atrocious. Oh my goodness gracious. Why does that sound so bad? I thought I changed those samples. Okay, well, you're going to have to just bear with me, I think, here for this one. I don't think I have enough time to switch the sounds. Oh no. Oh, I'm so sad. Okay, it's okay. We're not going to blast it though. We're just going to try and listen to it at a lower volume just so we can hear the context. Yeah. So you could do that, but that's lazy, right? It's lazy writing. It's lazy in terms of creativity. You're not really adding more to your piece. You're just doubling up on what you already had. Now, I've done this on stream. I have copied parts and pasted them in. And you know what? I am not ashamed about it, but it is a strategy. If you're not understanding or you're not fully comfortable with coming up with something new in terms of supporting or then just do it, right? You got to learn sometime. You got to just try and finish stuff. That's the way to get out of that, right? But I challenge you, if you are working on a project right now or working on a string arrangement, to come up with some more creative ideas. And to do that, you need to use your chords, your diatonic chords. So let's take a look and see what we can do. Well, we've got F minor. Okay. Let's write a counter melody. So a counter melody is something that responds to the main idea. So we've got this main idea. Da da da. I think we could respond by going down. Da da ya, da da ya, da da, something like that, where it kind of comes into a different melody right after the first one. So melody A, response, melody A, response, that kind of thing. So let's try that out. Da na. Da 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 da. No. No, no, no. Da, da, da. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. There we go. Okay. So this melody, I'm just kind of throwing notes out. I'm trying stuff, see if it works. And what I'm using here is the E flat major scale. Okay. I'm not going linearly all the time. And so when I say linearly, I mean step, 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 that kind of thing. I'm jumping, I'm skipping, I'm moving around. I'm adding some counter melody to what's happening. What I was trying to also consider was the main melody. Do I drown it out by using a different note entirely? Or do I make it crunchy by using a different note that's not in the melody? All of those questions you can ask in order to create what you think is best in this scenario. That's what composing is all about, creating what you think is the best. And having good sample libraries helps with this, of course, but also just using your piano, right? Playing the melodies and seeing if they sound good together. It's a really, really important thing. So, okay, didn't quite hear it as loud as I wanted to. Oh, come on. There we go. Sorry about that. So let's play it again. I've turned up the violin just a little bit. It is a little bit aggressive. I apologize for the noise, the sound it's making, but we'll try it out. Great. There we go. Okay, so that string sounds a lot better. It sounds a little bit louder. I don't want to go too loud because it's going to just drown everybody out, but let me know if you guys could hear that one the second time around a little bit better. I'm going to turn up just a little bit more. I'm scared you guys are not hearing that. So, okay, cool beans. Let's try that. Okay, so now, personally, I feel like this is too busy. Personally, I feel like this melody is taking away from our choir part. But I'm going to keep it for now because I want to show you guys what it would look like if you were to go and write a secondary part underneath. Okay. So for now, creatively, I'm like, it's too much. Let's go back to the holding. That's my instinct, but I'm going to fight that and I'm going to try something else. So what I've done here is I've just doubled up viola and violin, and watch this. Boom, boom. Now I go down to thirds. Now you can move down and create these third movements. I really like those third movements. You can also use the interval of a sixth, so 6 notes apart. This also helps create a little bit more kind of harmony within the counter melody. Kind of fun. I want to try this just to see what happens, and so you guys can hear what it's going to sound like with just thirds. But check it out. Okay, there's a crunchy note. Why? Because of that thing. So take a look. Our viola clef. The worst thing in music. I'm just kidding. It's not the worst thing in music. It's very hard to write with this stupid thing. This is a alto clef or tenor clef. I can never remember which one. I'm terrible for that. But this clef specifically, okay, actually, I'm going to see. Does it tell me what it is? No, it doesn't. Shoot. I can't remember which one it is. If you guys remember what clef it is, let me know. I can't remember off the top of my head. I blanked. I think it's tenor. I think, but could the violin part be its own melody? If not, how can you create two melodies that complement each other as well as sound good together? It's a great question. Creating a counter melody. It's an alto clef. Okay, thank you. Bye. So creating a melody that sounds good with another melody, it's one of those things that just takes time to develop. The things that I can say to start writing and start feeling more comfortable with your counter melodies is look for opportunities to contradict what you already have. So for example, if you have like, let's say, for example, you have that melody, right? The da da, oh, it's not da 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 da. That choir melody is very pretty on its own, but it's empty. It needs some more kind of chutzpah, is what I use. That's the word I use. Some energy, some creativity there. So you could put that in the alto part and the choir part, right? And then double it up there. I like having just the choir supporting the soprano. And we're going to leave it like that. But you don't have to, right? There's always the opportunity where you can experiment, right? Try different parts within one section of musicians. So choir versus violins, all that kind of stuff. So to answer your question here, could the violin part be its own melody? Absolutely it could. Maybe down the road, right? In the piece, if you wanted to have this melody come back as a separate thing, that's totally cool, right? If you like a counter melody so much, keep it, take it out, and then maybe just do those long sustains, right? It's all about what you feel is the best for your arrangement. There's no right or wrong. That's the hardest part with teaching this stuff. There's no right or wrong. And there's better decisions, right? There's choices that you can make that maybe make it sound more kind of emotional, more passionate, more sad, more happy. But it all depends on what your goal is. So for your question here, Mario Music, if not, how can you create two melodies that complement each other? Look for the opportunities where the melody needs a response. So what I've done, okay, is I've made it too busy. This melody, this counter melody is too busy because the main melody's busy, right? Da 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 da. It really doesn't need much more, especially because in the context of the song, it's just the intro, right? We don't have to go big. Or do we? Those are the questions, right? If you want to go big, then yeah, write the crazy runs that you want to write to make it just pop off, right? But it really depends on where you feel the responses are. So, da 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 ba da 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 da. I feel like this part here in the string section at the ritardando, I feel like it's too busy. But then you look at the page and it's actually a great spot for a counter melody because there's nothing happening in the choir. So for me, I feel like this is too busy. If I go back and listen, oh yeah, I forgot to make that a natural, sorry. That'll sound better. There you go. So I still feel like it's too much. I feel like it's too much. I don't like it. So I'm going to get rid of it. You know, and then just there you go. So now we've got this. Just kidding. I don't know. Let's see it in context. Okay. Not all is lost here. I like this better, but I don't love it. So this is where I'm going to say, hey, some busier parts in the cello and the bass might be better. we'll try it out. Music video piano. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Lots of fun. And if you guys have to peace out, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Like the video, comment down below what kind of stuff you'd want to learn about next, and keep up to date with this channel because it's going to be a fun year. I am so excited. Okay. Boop. Okay. Cello, cello, cello. Let's see. So I think rhythm. Let's do some rhythm. Dum 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 Cool. So how am I writing these rhythms? Well, you do a lot of rhythm study. But essentially, if you want to figure out where the spaces are in your dense, eighth note cacophony of crazy that you have in this measure, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you go 1 and 1 and. So where are the spaces? That's where you put the rests. That's the best way I've found to write rhythms, and I've made a whole video on this. You can go check it out. It's my most recent video. It's the one with the green foresty kind of stuff around it, and I've got my hat backwards. I think I jump in front of the camera the first scene. I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a while. So yeah, check that one out. It's really cool. A lot of fun. Bump, bump, bump. So I want to go... nope. Let's go to B flat. Dum dum dum. Yeah. Da dum dum. Dum dum da da da. I don't know why that D flat seems to be the one I want to go to, but we'll figure that out in a second here. Dum dum da da ya. Cool. So I like this rhythm. I really do. It's kind of a more bouncy. Can't hear it at all because I'm turned it down all the way, but let's turn that up a little bit more. Now, if I was being more detail oriented, I'd probably put some staccatos on this. I'd probably put some accents on this cello part and make it really like hum bum 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 ba bum bum ba bum bum or something like that. Bum bum ba ya da. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. I'm gonna put the staccatos on because I think that's gonna actually make this really, really clean. Let's try that, just for fun. It's hard to hear. It's hard to hear. It's hard to hear, but that's okay. Whoop, whoop, yoop, yoop. I feel like that's going to be way too loud now, but it's okay. We're fine, right? We're fine. That's actually pretty quiet. Nice. Cool. I think we do this because I want to really accentuate that kind of that pulse. I'm gonna go ba so this is gonna fill out the sound even with the crummy sample libraries we have in this thing. Let's try this. Great. I like that. Dum dum. I'm gonna add this da da. I like that as well. Sounds really cool. So we've really thickened out this kind of this rhythm churning underneath our choir part, which is really cool. So again, right, when we talk about supporting the choir part, what happens is the choir can either be the main focus, or it can be like a harmonious thing where both parts are complementing each other, right? Or it can be, you know, the strings take over and have a heyday, right? I would make this quiet, this part. I have it loud so you guys can hear it, but if I was to write this in context and give it some kind of some project treatment, I would put the piano here. I'd make it really quiet, or even mezzo piano, just so I have like this like dum 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 da da, right? Having that just kind of sit in the background, but I want you guys to hear it, so that's why it's so loud. One more time, and then we'll talk about what's next. Woo! Yeah, so that part there, I would make it big. I would build it up, big crescendo, and like give it some power, right? This is popping in, and then or something like that, something crazy. Okay. I actually don't like how low this is. I'm gonna put this up a little bit, but don't tell anybody. I'm just gonna fix that up, and then it's gonna sound a little bit better with the nice higher part on the F. Nice. That sounds a lot better. That way, that low C really stands out because of the context of everything else. If I have all the stuff a little bit higher and then I drop the last note, well, that's gonna just, right? That's that, oh my gosh moment. This is so cool. That's what we're going for. Okay. Now, we've got nothing in terms of movement in this choir part, and I think you know what's gonna happen here. Watch this. Dump 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 dump. Okay, now I can see that this is very dense, so I'm just gonna split these up into groups of 4 here so you guys can actually see what's going on. But it's the same thing both times. Okay, so what I would do now is probably focus on a violin or violin viola combo with a melody. So that melody I just sang, da da dum dum da 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 dum da 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 da, or something like that, right? Getting into the nitty-gritty of your ideas is a very hard thing to do, and if you know, it takes time to kind of allow your brain to just go. Trust it, just let it happen. I usually can't replicate anything I sing though, so that's why if there was an ability to just like record the idea, la la la, and then talk into it, and then just go for it. I think there's something like that out there, but like, it would make my job easy. Or I just make a computer write my stuff. That's what. Hey, AI, write it for me, please. Nice. And then I would go, whoa, bum, 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 bum. Stop making noise. Stop making noise, man. Okay, cool. Yes. Okay, let's talk about that. Write what you sing, like find the pitches. So that is a skill set that you can learn. I'm very, very grateful that I had very good ear training instructors and through my studies and stuff that I was able to basically figure out the patterns and the formulas for how to go about learning. What this is called ear training. You can practice ear training at home. It's very easy. All you have to do is pick a note. So let's say you pick C, for example, right? That's C, right? I think it's C. Hope it's C. If it's not, whoops. But C, D, E, F, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. There you go. So C, okay. And then play that on the piano, get really comfortable with it, and then play like C, D, C, E, C, F, C, G, C, A, C, B, C, C, C. And when you do that a few times and go down to like C, 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 B, C, A, C, G, C, F, C, E, C, D, C, your brain will start to remember the shapes and the patterns and the distance that it takes to get from point A to point B. I just closed my laptop unintentionally. Please don't muck with me. Okay, cool. So that's what I would recommend, is just sitting there going C, D, C, E, C, F, C, D, C, G, or whatever, and pick a scale, do it for a few times. And then when you feel really comfortable, you feel a little cocky, you can go, and then what's my next note? So play C, and then, I don't know, what's G? Well, C, G. That's not G, that's an octave. C, G, there's G. So you start to practice, right? C, G, C, A, C, B, C, C. And if you can practice that with the nice major scale and you get really good at that, then practice the chromatic stuff. So C, C flat, C, E flat, C, F sharp, it's gross, I don't like it. Yes, that's how you would practice ear training and get really, really good at that. So if you get really good at understanding where the distances are, then all of a sudden when you're writing music, you're like, well, hold on. Bum ba, that's an octave somewhere over the rainbow. Boom ba. I got it. And then you can write that interval. And then now you can kind of piece together where you're going from. And that's how I do it. And now I've been doing this a long time, so you can start to get faster and faster the more you do it. And if you've been doing this for a long time and you still haven't done it, well, it's because you need to practice your ear training. I think that's the biggest key. So that's the secret to success right there. Some of it has to do with natural ability too, I will admit. But I think it's, yeah. Yes, I think that's exactly right, Scott. You can passively learn it before you realize you have it. That's exactly right. So you can actively go about learning it, which helps, but the passive comes from just practicing and playing and writing melodies and doing this and doing that. And so just getting your hands dirty, 100% agree. But you can strategically go about learning it more effectively so that it sticks longer, or it's more applicable, or it's more kind of useful in that way where you can control it, as opposed to just like, I kind of think it's this one. Oh, yeah, I was right. Guesswork is never fun if you get it wrong. So, okay, we're almost done here today, everyone. I thank you again for hanging out with me today, but I do want to finish up this bit of notation, just these last 8 measures before we say goodbye. So, let's see here. Measure 5. Ball. Yes. So I'm going to write some wacky melodies here because I want to show you how the strings can kind of be its own thing with the choir on top. So, what was the melody? Hold on. And then, oh my goodness, that's really hard. Why would I do this to myself? Let's do that. So, oh, there we go. 1 E and a 2 E and a, yeah, so 2 E and a 3 E. So now I'm in a different key, which is not great. My ears gravitated towards A flat major, which makes sense because I started with F. That makes so much sense. So yeah, that's where you have to be really careful. If your ears start to pull you in different directions, you're like, bring it back. It's not wrong. It's not bad. Just be aware of it, kind of thing. Yeah. I think one of the streams I did, it was back on Twitch. I started in a key signature and then I wrote it in a completely different key signature. And I didn't realize because I was just using accidentals and whatever. And then I looked back at it like a few days later and I was like, this says E flat, but I'm playing in A flat. Same thing as I'm doing here. And it's like, what? How did that happen? So then you change the key signature and everything goes out of whack. And you're like, no. So yeah, just be careful. Just be careful. Okay. So let's. Yeah. Yeah. So na 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 na. Cool. Let's try that. Let's see how that goes. That's a fun little melody. I like that. Oh. The sound does not do it justice. I think this needs to be shorter. Yeah, that's better. Let's try that. Nice. Oh, dang it. Yeah, I'm in A flat major. My ear is in A flat. This is horrible. In this case, because I'm in A flat, I would probably just change keys here just for the sake of it, and then probably just switch to A flat major across the board. For this example, I'm going to try and stay with my E flat, but man, that's annoying. So, so a melody that's great, or a great melody, usually has repetition or has parts that repeat or has an idea that repeats. So we're going to do that again. Money and a two and a three. Ba 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 ba. Ba ba ba. Ba ba. Nice. And then we're gonna do that one more time. La da 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 dum 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 da 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 da. One and a two da da da. Yeah. So one and a two. Dun 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 dun. So ba ba da dum dum. So this is that and that. So one and a two and a, and then a three. That. No 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 no. No. Flip. No 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 no. Nope. G A. Ah. G A G A. No 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 no. There you go. Okay, that's our melody. La-di-da. Let's see how that goes. Something like that, right? I would probably sit with it a little bit longer. I don't like it fully, but I'm going to turn it up just a little bit more here. And what I'm going to do now is probably, I mean, it's probably wise to just double up the melody here with the viola. The viola is the hardest instrument to write for in the strings, I find, because you don't want it to be too repetitive. You don't want it to be too slow. You don't want them to get bored. But at the same time, sometimes that's what the parts need. And in this case, I would argue that doing something like a third above this harmony, like the F, so it'd be A flat, or maybe you have, a third under the the melody, right? I would argue that that's a great way to do it. Or you can just, you know, for the sake of time, double up and call it a day. So let's see how that sounds. I'm not happy about it. I think there's better options. Yes, big strong. Yes. That's great. That's great. I love that melody. It's really cool. It sounds like The Last of the Mohegans or something like that. But yeah, that would be a good option, I think. Doubles up on the melody. Nice octave sound. It's great. I really like it. But what was the point of this section, right? The point of this section was the choir part. The choir part had this really calm, kind of non-rhythmic part. And what we've done is we've added some more kind of rhythm churning underneath. We've added a different counter melody here, and we've let the strings stand out. And this really kind of brought the parts together, which is really cool. However, our main melody here started with our choir. So we flipped the script a little bit. Now, again, if you wanted to, you could probably double up this alto line and make that the main melody. But again, it comes down to you and what you guys prefer. If you guys are composing and creating, it's your composition, it's your creation. It's very hard to say, you know, this is the right way, this is the wrong way. However, if you find that you're lacking energy, you find that your arrangement or your creations aren't really hitting the mark when it comes to your emotions that you want to hit or the sentiments you want to create, that's kind of that's my red flag. That's what I look for when I'm teaching or I'm working with other people or writing my own stuff. It's like, is there emotion there? If there is emotion, or what was the emotion you're trying to get, and first establishing that, and then go, okay, is it there? And if it isn't, why? And then we can break it down and work through why it isn't or why it is. And if you can start asking yourself that more and more as you write and create and understand where things are, your writing will just sound so much more kind of mature and put together and clean. And that's really the ultimate goal here. So I hope that you enjoyed this live stream. This was what I wanted to do last week. Or 2 weeks ago, I should say. So I'm glad we got through this today. Next week, I wanted to maybe dive into maybe a little bit of piano playing and talking about, you know, learning and playing piano and what are some key factors there. This channel is now been rebranded as Tonicized Music Academy. So I want to cover subject matter that's going to be fulfilling and really kind of impactful for a variety of different instruments, not just composition, but branching out into a bigger world of musical kind of interests. So if you have things that you want to learn about, or if you find things that you come across, you're like, hey, you know, I would love, you know, to hear your take on this. Please let me know. Send me a comment under the video, or you can send me a message on any social channel. Instagram's preferred, Sam_Vesley_official. I had to think about that one. Yeah, and we'll see where it goes. So thank you again, everyone, for watching. I hope you had a lot of fun. And we'll see each other again in 2 weeks. Crazy times, though. Crazy times. All right, everybody. Let's see here. If there's any more questions, now's your time. Now's your chance. Feel free to slap them in the chat. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. My goodness. Also, I'm very happy. I got this new light. I don't know if you guys can see that light over there, but it's kind of cool, kind of fun to have this setup, this space. The light makes me feel like I'm coming out of like behind me. So I might have to fix that, but everything else is coming together really, really, really well. So really excited about that. All right, you guys, thank you again for hanging out. Scott A., thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone. It was really fun. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I hope you have a great 2 weeks. It's going to be a lot of fun. You know, go write some music. Go listen to something new. I always try and encourage that. You can learn a lot by learning something or just diving into a new genre and seeing what you can pull out of it. And we'll see each other very soon. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Thank you again, everybody. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video. Leave a comment. What do you want to see next? And I'll see you guys in 2 stinking weeks. Take care. Bye for now.